Udattascha anudattascha swarita prachitau tatha. Nighatascheti vigneyaha swara bhedastu panchadha. This is another shloka that tells what are the sounds that come in Vedic passages. See, Vedic passages will not operate like classical music. It will just go on 3 different octaves. It is called Udattam, Anuddatam, Swaritam. Then there is an extra sound called as Dirghaswaritam. These are the 4 ways in which it operates. There is one Prachayaha, which is the 5th sound, that is not of much importance to us as of now. But these we often say, right? Samagana lole salalita gunajale amba samagana. Interestingly, Tyagaraja deploys this in a very intellectual manner. Nabhi hritkantharasanana sadulello shobillo saptaswara dharadhruk samadulalo dharadhruk sa Madulalo. That Sama, he used the Swaraksharam there. So Sama Vedam, Sama Ganam we say. And we say that music comes from Vedam. But if you listen to the Vedic passages, Sahasra Sirja Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasravod Sabhumim Vishwato Vritva, we will be doubtful. Sir, does this passage give rise to beautiful music? Inkem Kavale, Siddha has sung so well. You are telling from Vedic passages it comes, the shlokam says, Udatto Nishada Gandhara Anudatta Rishabha Daivatau. So whatever we call as Udattam, Anuddatam, Swaritam, Dirghaswaritam in Vedas have given rise to Shadjam, Rishabham, Gandharam, Madhyamam, Panchamam, Daivatam. Remember, people will be thinking, why is he calling Daivatam as Daivatam? Because in music, it is not small da, it is the larger da, it is Daivatam, not Daivatam. Daivatam. So, these are the swaras that come from the Vedam. So, till now, what have we understood? Amongst the Vedic passages, it is Purusha Suktam. Amongst Dharma Shastram, it is Manu Dharma Shastram. Amongst Puranas, it is Vishnu Puranam. Amongst the passages in Sri Mahabharatam, it is Bhagavad Gita. Swaram is very important in Vedic language. If Swaram changes, first instance, what is the example given if the Swaram changes? Indra Shatro Vardhasva. 1. 2. In Mahabharatam, Ashtavakra. Very good. Now we have understood till here. Now I'll tell you, Suktam means Uktam. Su. Uktam. Ukta. Ukta means to say. Su Uktam. Well said. Suktam means well said. So whatever is well said is called Suktam. Su Uktam. Supraja. Su generally in Sanskritam, take this rule. Whenever you use Su as a prefix, it means something good. Kausalya, good son. Correct? Praja means son. We are all Prajas. Right. Whereas Rama is Supraja, good son. Right. You ask many of the parents here, do you have a son? Yes, yes, he is my son. Is he your good son? They'll be doubtful. So that good is Su. So Suktam means Su Uktam, well said. It has been told very well. Now where does this Purusha Suktam appear? That is where it is a beautiful marvel. Now we need to understand Vedas. For that, again, I'll give you some more foundation and then I'll get into the mantram. Certain passages when we say are prose in nature. We all speak in prose only. Remember, we all speak in prose. Get me water. Please get me some water. I am seated there. In which floor is it? All simple sentences. We speak in prose. But great people in those days thought the only way for generations further to remember our Shastras is only when we give in the form of poetry. That is why Ramayanam is in poetry. Adi Kavyam. Right? Adi Kavyam Ramayanam is poetry. But remember, Rama or Lakshmana wouldn't have spoken in this poetic fashion. I don't know how to see, for example, roses, roses all the way with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway, the church spires flamed, such flags they had a year ago on this very day. Will anyone speak like this in your house? This is good only for recitation. Because only when, that is why all our rhymes, nursery rhymes, they're all in the form of poetry. They keep rhyming. So poetry was one of the easiest ways to reach out to people. Prose was not that way. But Vedanta Deshika did one marvel. He gave one prose work which is very well remembered. Prose is called Gadyam. Poetry is called Padyam. So poetry is generally very easy to remember. That is why all our poets, Kalidasa, Bharavi, Magha, Harsha, all of them gave us poetry. Vedanta Deshika also gave us poetry, but he also gave one work called Raghuvira Gadyam. It is a prose work, but very beautiful to listen to. Now let's get back to the Vedas. Now, how did the Vedas come into appearance? We generally say Vedas were not authored. Correct? Appaurusheyam. Nobody authored the Vedas. But if I tell this immediately, our engineer son, whether he knows Bernoulli's theorem or not, he will ask all these questions. We, as colleges, we have been very successful to give rise to many woks these days. We are all in the era of woke. Anyways, now there will be a question, sir. If there is a book, there has to be an author. It can't fall directly from the sky. Correct. Question is correct. How did Vedas come into existence? There is one theory for this. For example, even now there is sonic waves here. But dogs have much better capability than us. They are much better in many ways than us. That is different. They have better things than us. Remember, snakes don't have ears, but they always go on the vibrations that they receive. So, Paramatma has been very benevolent in bestowing this art of listening to different creatures in different ways. What I listen to, which is music to me, may sound noise to my father. See, technically, let's be very frank. There are many wokes in the musical world also who say that classical music has to be appreciated by everyone. Correct. Everybody has to appreciate classical music. Nobody is stopping them. But it is very tough to appreciate the nuances of classical music unless and until you have had an atmosphere or you have been God gifted. See, somebody keeps Kamakshi Kanchika. It will take 20 minutes to complete this Swarajati. Shama Shastri Swarajati. Unless and until your ears have been tuned to Bhairavi and Yadukula Kamboji, you will not be able to appreciate. Just because you are not appreciating, it doesn't mean you are bad or the music is bad. Certain ears are not tuned to certain forms of music. We have to understand this basic law. See, for example, when I used to be in, okay, I have to tell you this. Now I've spoken about wokes and colleges. My discourses began while I was in my college. So during my college days, there was no question of, oh, this is a secular institution. What will happen if you say Ramayana? Nothing. At least my college encouraged. The person who was organized is also from my alma mater. And the person who manages this Bangalore international, he is also a Bitsian. So, there are certain colleges which also support and don't ask unnecessary questions on the civilization. Let's not put a blanket statement. Now coming to the music, while I used to be in the hostel, some of my friends used to listen to Rammstein. Have you heard? You have heard Rammstein? There's some music. If you have not heard, don't worry. It's not something very important. some form of music, I don't know, rock, jazz, I don't know, German. I could never appreciate even an iota of it. I'll tell you, probably God did not give me that great jnanam to appreciate that music. So let's be clear, though there are different genres of music, not everyone can appreciate every form of music. Though there are different creatures in this creation, every creature has its own level of understanding sonic waves. Similarly, amongst the Homo sapiens, human beings, there were certain select rishis who could decipher the sound in the atmosphere in certain patterns.
Dear Astika reader, I'm happy to be authoring a two-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram Astikas. I'm tentatively scheduled to travel to Abu Dhabi and Dubai in the mid-February, to 7 cities in the countries of Australia and New Zealand, namely Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Auckland and Wellington between the 25th of February and the 25th of March. I'm scheduled to travel to Singapore either in the month of April or January, and later I'll be rendering discourses in New Jersey, Boston, Maryland, Pittsburgh, and then in St. Louis and Indianapolis in the month of July. I'm sure you would love to share this message with your friends and relatives.